Thank you for joining me.
No
Um,
worries.
how is lockdown treating you?
Yes, good, good. Thanks very much. I mean, as good as it can be. It's all a bit strange, but had a fair bit to keep me busy though. So it hasn't been all bad. It's been quite productive, actually.
Good, good, good. So, do you want to start off a bit about telling us about yourself, about the band you're in, what you do, how it started, and how you got into the industry?
Right. Yeah. Basically, my name's Ed. I'm in a band called Lacertilia. I mean, the band's been around on the Cardiff scene for a good sort of 7 or 8 years, I think. Maybe not quite that long, and I've been in the band for the last couple of years. I've been in sort of previous bands with the old bassist Tom. Actually, I used to be in a band with him as well. Um, and Yeah, basically, me and Matt Fry, the other guy behind Proper Tidy Records, he's a singer in Lacertilia, and he runs Strange Frequencies gig promotions. I do ZZ promotions. So we were going to team up, do an Easter bank holiday gig, a 2-day gig, a load of sort of talent from South Wales, like a load of our mates' bands, a load of from South Wales and beyond, some from Bristol, some from London. And due to, everything going on, we had to cancel it, which we were gutted about, really. So we thought, right, how can we turn this into a positive? So we basically thought, right, let's just get an album out, let's get a record label, let's get all this music together, get the music out there for people. So that's where Proper Tidy Records came from. We got most of the bands that we're going to be playing, as many as we could, and then a load of other bands, from South Wales and around the sort of the area, to make Tidy Darts Volume 1, which is a compilation. It's 31 tracks of so many amazing bands, 31 bands from South Wales and beyond. And it's like only a fiver. And we thought all the money that we make from that can go to the moon, because they were going to make a tidy little profit behind the bar for drink sales, which of course they couldn't do anymore. So yeah, we got it together, and it's been a great response so far. So hopefully we can just give like a big wedge to the moon to help them out in this time.
I'm sure Matt, if he was here now, could tell us a bit more about this. But what are the challenges for launching an independent record label?
I mean, well, it was a lot of work. I mean, it was, I think, about 3 weeks before the gig, we realized that it wasn't going to happen, and we were like, right, well, what can we do? So basically we had to do everything in the space of 3 weeks, without seeing each other, or without seeing anyone. It was all electronic, online contact. So I mean, just juggling the that many sort of bands, that many sort of emails and everything, getting it all together in one place. The bands were so kind to be able to to lend us a track, to donate a track for this good cause. So yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, with the album cover as well. Got to give a shout out to Sam in my other band, Tales in the Shade. She did an amazing job on the artwork for it as well. Jim Bowen doing the old saxophone. So yeah, it's been lots of help from lots of sort of like talent, to help bring this together.
So you might want to fill me in a bit more. What is the rock scene like in Cardiff? Has it changed from like a few years ago? How are things developing?
I mean, it's constantly changing, as I imagine any underground scene is. It's so strong at the moment. I mean, you can tell just by the bands that are on Tidy Darts, which isn't even an exhaustive list of all the bands. You can tell the scene is so vibrant at the moment. There's bands. I mean, I live with members of two of the bands anyway, Boxcat and Lighthammer, and that's just in one house. And it's a proper like range, going from like the noisy sort of like harsh punky sort of stuff to the more progressive sort of psych stuff, to the typical classic stoner, the stoner sound. And it's really good to hear like where the band's coming from, and like the different sounds, like from the valleys or from Swansea or from like Newport. It's really interesting to hear, the slight, changes in the sounds coming from these places.
So we talk about sound and, record labels. How does all this, do you think the dynamic of the music industry will change after COVID? I mean, we've seen so many, we think about big big organizations launching these like streaming festivals like the Global Citizen Festival with huge artists. But almost I feel that these celebrity statuses don't really, come through so much in these times. I think people just want to see raw, authentic people and authentic music. It doesn't really matter what status you're on almost. So do you think the dynamic is going to be changing post-COVID?
I would think so. I mean, not only for the music scene, but for absolutely everything. Just the amount of people that can work from home that couldn't before, you know. So I think the whole sort of like social landscape is going to change anyway. But yeah, with the music scene, with um, the last sort of 10, 15 years of like the internet sort of really coming to be a thing where so many more bands could make it than they could in like the 80s or 90s, for instance. And it looks like there's a huge shift going on again where even more musicians can get out there because you don't even have to leave your house now. You know, you can just record something. The amount of videos I've seen of just friends I know on Facebook who are doing like guitar videos or bass videos. I've checked out some bass videos, or like singing or doing impressions. Just the amount of different videos I've seen of people just putting their talent out there, just to bring people up a little bit. It's really refreshing and it's really amazing, and I think that's going to continue sort of on, you know, onward, because we've got this technology available to us. So I think it's really quite something. Yeah.
All genres cover this, but in terms of rock, like I think a lot of people just really get off the vibes and that connection. So when we
Mm.
think about festivals like streaming through online services, what's the difference between a face-to-face connection? I bet the difference is huge. So how does that impact things?
I mean, it is. I mean, it's. I've been to, you know, many gigs in my time, and I've watched a fair few gigs, you know, from home. There's one of our friends called Mike Dennis, really talented violinist and rapper, and I've seen him do his live thing, and he's been doing a set from his house every Saturday, so I can sort of see the difference there. And while although there is obviously a difference between seeing it live, but when you see it, or like on the, you know, when it's streaming, when you can talk to him, you're sending all these messages and stuff, so it's almost like it's a lot more personal, because you're just in a room with just a few of your mates or maybe by yourself, and then you can also sort of just talk directly to them, and it's seeing a more like raw side to a musician, to watch them play in their bedroom, you know, as opposed to, you know, going to a gig. It's a whole thing. You build up to it. They're on a stage. They're, you know, almost, you know, literally above you, sort of thing, on the stage. So yeah, it's really nice to see that side of musicians. You know, you haven't got the stage to sort of give you that false sense of security, if you know what I mean.
Do you think people will think, oh, I've seen them online, so yeah, I can go to the gig, but I'm not too fussed because I've already seen them. What do you think about that? Do you think that's something to think about, or do you think it's okay?
I think personally that shouldn't be too much of a problem, because the thing about big gigs is going to gigs is just the energy, and it is the vibe, and you know, there is a difference, and it's brilliant being able to watch, you know, streaming gigs, and I think that will continue, but I don't think that in that respect live gigs will be affected, because there's like an energy. You can go there, you meet people, you speak to people, you know, it's good to support the bars as well and to support the venues, which, you know, I feel quite strongly about. So I think that there's still going to be a healthy amount of people going to regular gigs, and I think it's even more because people are itching to get back out there at the moment and just see a band, and then, you know, sort of shake their hand afterwards, you know, and really experience it.
Definitely. I know I'm going to be itching to get in a sweaty club.
Oh, yeah, we've been itching to play, like with Lacertilia. We were meant to be at Desert Fest tomorrow, playing Desert Fest tomorrow in London. We've had to cancel so many gigs, obviously, because everyone has, and we're just itching to get back out there and play again.
Have you thought about doing it through streaming services online?
Um, Doing a gig, it would have to be, if of course, like all our internet sort of signals are up to scratch and stuff. It's we've considered it. I don't think it's going to be something we're going to do, but we have sort of considered it, and if we could all get together in a room, then yeah, we'd definitely. So within time, hopefully we can do something like that, maybe before the actual gig starts again. But so long as we can get together, then that's something we'd definitely consider, if we could all get in a room, because, you know, to vibe off each other, and to make sure that, you know, you give a good performance, if you know what I mean.
So going back to the record label, how many acts and artists are part of that?
Well, we've literally just started, so we've had the Tidy Darts Volume 1, which 31 bands kindly donated to. And our next release is the new Lacertilia album, some minor mass bands. So we're going to be releasing that on the 9th of May through Proper Tidy. The video, the first video for Cloaks and Daggers has just come out actually, so you can check that out. It's all mad green screen, you know, things like that. So and Mikey put that together, our guitarist. So good work there, Mikey. So yeah, that's our next one, and then we're looking to do like more compilations, you know, like not exclusively, but do like say themed ones, maybe do like fundraiser ones, you know, money raisers, so then we can put out like another band's studio album. So so yeah, we're still sort of exploring at the moment because we're only about 6 weeks old.
Right. So can you give us any inside exclusives to what's coming up on the album? What can fans expect?
There's been a couple of reviews out already for the new Lacertilia album, Calling the Quarters. It's called. It's if you like Lacertilia, then you're gonna like it. It's moved on a little bit from the previous sound. It's matured a little bit. There's a bit more dynamics. We get some almost like Gregorian chanting on a bit of it, and you know, there's like instrumental sort of like breaks between the songs. But it's quite proggy, you know. It's quite like a proggy psychedelic stoner doom sort of album that ends with just a load of Sabbath tributes.
So would you say Sabbath's an inspiration or an influence?
Oh yes, I mean I don't know who wouldn't, like, you know, Sabbath of the Kings, really, aren't they?
Definitely. I know I will have to get a bit more clued up. My general genres of music are, you know, chilled reggae, R&B, all that type of stuff. So
Oh, nice. I like that. I like that sort of stuff.
I don't like to say, oh, I'm cut off from this specific genre, or I'm cut off from this specific genre, because it's not always about the song, is it? It's about the connection, the lyrics, and the things you find about that.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm listening to just such a range at the moment. I mean, I've listened to like a lot of Nick Cave and Tom Waits at the moment. There's also Ida Nielsen, Prince's old bassist. You know, listening to a lot of her stuff, and it's just Princey enough. You know, with like, but it's like new funk, a lot of new funk jazz I've been listening to as well. King of Gwitch, like, she's a really good jazz bassist. So been getting like a big old mix at the moment. You know, it's been really nice.
And it inspires, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's great to get. I mean, this is how you get some great bands, because as opposed to just listening to say one genre, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but then you can get a band that listens to one thing, but then take something from somewhere else, and then they're like, oh, let's put this into here, and you're like, oh, I haven't heard that before, you know, and then, you know, you could get a new subgenre from that, you know, things like that can happen.
You say Proper Tidy Records is only, you know, you've launched for about, what, 6 weeks?
It's been around that, yeah.
So can you go into like specific challenges for us? How difficult is it? I can't comprehend how difficult it is to set up an indie record label like what you've done.
It's I mean, it's the first time I've ever done anything like that, really. No, Matt's put on like some festivals before. He used to do Surplus Festival for a few years, and I've put on a few gigs before. For the last year, I put on maybe like 5 or 6 gigs. So it was all brand new to me, really, as well. And you're kind of like, where do I start? You know, right? A name. There we go. Got a name. Wicked. There we go. Right now, what are we going to do? So it's learning on the job. You know, like all the time. You know, you go, right. You just keep thinking, right, what do I need next? What needs to happen next? You know, what needs to happen in order for the next thing to happen? And then you just keep picking up things. You're like, right, okay, I'll do that. Right, okay, I'll do that. And then before you know it, you're like, you've got the name, you've got a logo, you've got the Facebook. You know, it's like, because what is a record label? It's not a physical thing. You know, what is it? It's all these different elements of everything come to create this record label. So yeah, it's been easy, but it's been hard. It's been a lot of work. You know, luckily we have had this sort of time to do stuff, because it has been a lot of work. You know, I've spent, even this the last few days, or the run up to the new album coming out, the last week, I've spent like many hours a day just emailing people, searching for things, you know, messaging people, just sharing stuff. It's like a constant thing. So but it's good, and you get to a point where you look back and you're like, oh wow, you know, there's this whole thing now. And for instance, when when Adam Walton played the first time he played some tracks. He played Akbal. He'd never heard Akbal before. That's Mikey, my guitarist. It's his other band. He'd never heard them before, so he went and checked them out. And it's really nice to bring music that hasn't been heard to people. And to introduce music, to even have a hand in that is just such a great thing.
Yeah, but that's a really rewarding thing to do. But where did the name come from? It's great. Proper Tidy Records. It's great. For me, it sounds so well, but just so cool at the same time.
That was all Matt. That was all Matt. He's like, oh, Proper Tidy. Let's call it Proper Tidy Records. And I was just like, yep, I like it. And he came up with the name Tidy Darts as well for the album. So yeah, he's proper Welsh, he is. So that was all him. But I like it. I think it's a really good name. It's catchy, stands out.
Exactly, it's great, and especially when you put a really strong Welsh accent onto that as well, it just sounds 10 times better.
Oh, you should hear him say it. That actually sounds Welsh.
So this might be a bit of a premature question to ask now, considering you've only been up and running for about 6 weeks. But what advice would you give artists and producers who want to take that next step and try and build a bit of clientele and eventually set up their own independent record label?
I say just go for it. I know that's quite a cliche sort of advice, but just go for it. If you ever think, I never thought for a second, I'd be, have a record label or a promotions sort of company. I mean, I say company, I put on gigs. I get bands I like to come down and play, but I say just go for it. It's always little steps. It might seem like a really daunting thing. Oh no, it's like getting CDs out there and stuff. It might seem like a daunting thing, but it's all done in like little steps, in my experience anyway. And the rewards is just so much more than you think. It's just lovely to because Cardiff has got such a vibrant music scene, like Womanby Street with the Moon, who we're raising money for. It's infamous around Cardiff, and just to have a hand in helping out and to bring music and to bring culture to Cardiff, it's more than worth any amount of the work.
Yeah, I could never do it personally.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Just put the time.
I've had someone do it and just take the back seat. Did you have anything extra to say?
Basically, grab Tidy Darts Volume 1, especially today, because Bandcamp are waiving their fees for today, so that means more money goes to the Moon. There'll be a link on the Proper Tidy Facebook page, and it'll be all around there. So yeah, go check that out. Grab a copy if you can. There's a £5. You can pay more if you're feeling a bit flush, or with payday and everything. And every penny helps, and it's also grateful. Also, check out the new Lacertilia video for Cloaks and Daggers. The new album Calling the Quarters is out on the 9th of May, so there'll be pre-orders up for that soon, and that's coming out through Proper Tidy as well.
So thank you so much, Ed, for talking to me. And it was quite sporadic, loads of different emails flying around, but thank you so much, and best of luck with Proper Tidy Records, and and yeah, stay safe.
Yes,
enjoy the music. Enjoy the
Thanks
music,
very much.
and good luck on your album.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it when it comes out.
No, definitely, I will give it a listen. I'll drop you a line, tell you what I think.
Yes, please do, man.
Cheers, thank you so much.
Thanks very much.